Joining me from London is writer and commentator Esther Krakue. Esther, thank you so much for your time. I know you're conflicted on this as well, finding it hard to deal with. Let's first talk about Belgium. It suffered so many terrorist attacks already from jihadists, now another, France as well, and with war in Gaza about to get red hot, Europe must feel like it's sitting on a volcano.
It does. And I mean, we're seeing isolated incidents of Islamist terrorists effectively attacking individuals across Europe. I mean, even here in Britain, counter-terrorism police in northeast England have just arrested a man for the murder and attempted murder of two people in Hartlepool in the north of England. We obviously know about the attacks in France, which left a teacher dead. Now in Brussels, we saw two Swedish football fans shot and another person injured. And I suspect we're not going to see the end of this. Obviously, Hamas leadership called for a day of jihad, and we're seeing that. I mean, in London, I think the most telling thing was the pro-Palestinian protest, where over 40,000 people gathered in London. Now, there are people that are genuinely concerned about the plight of Palestinians. I am one of them, and I think that there is a very legitimate cause there. But at these protests, the pro-Palestinian protests in London, you saw people, supporting Hamas, saying from river to sea, Palestine will be free, which is actually, something that is said to indicate the complete wipeout of the state of Israel. You had people actually saying that Hamas are not terrorists and that they're freedom fighters, even though they're known to hide behind women and children. They're known to hide rockets in hospitals, behind and inside people's homes. They've been telling people not to evacuate northern Gaza because they want as many civilian casualties as possible. So it's a completely devastating situation. But one thing that is clear is there will be no peace. There will be no advancement of peace if we keep treating Hamas like with kid gloves, like they're sort of the resistance fighters that are just fighting for the rights of Palestinians. Actually, we'll see no progress. They're murdering their own civilians in this process, and we need to take that seriously. A group of people that shoots civilians, that targets civilians and shoots them, murders women and children, they cannot be taken seriously. And in some sense, you can understand the preoccupation of people on both sides. I mean, Israel has the right to defend itself, but Palestinians do have the right to safety and to a state. I mean, I would often say that the Palestinians have unfortunately been governed so terribly. I mean, even in the West Bank, Mahmoud Abbas is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, while his people, the GDP per capita is literally a pittance amongst Palestinians in the West Bank. And in Gaza, the leadership there are using their own citizens as human shields. So it's a really horrible, devastating situation, and we're obviously calling for restraints on both sides. But I think what's been disgraceful has been, people in the West in particular trying to equate Hamas as some sort of, freedom fighting group or trying to humanize them in some way. In the case of Europe, we're seeing, extremists that are known to intelligence agencies, particularly in France, for instance, rearing their ugly heads. And there are genuine questions about immigration into Europe, the kinds of values that people are bringing over into Europe, and what this means for social cohesion, both in Britain, which is actually one of the most successful examples of multiculturalism in the world. You have France, you have Belgium, you have Germany, you have Sweden. These are genuine questions that are being asked, and I fear for the future.
Oh, so do I, Esther, so do I. I mean, this is the thing about the attack Hamas launched. How can Israel drop the borders now? Let the Gaza people go free when they know that strolling across the border will do people who've just done what they've just done to Israelis a week ago. Esther Krakue, it's a terrible, terrible dilemma. Thank you so much indeed for your time.